Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. And I'm here in the middle of the second week now talking about Moses. We learn a little bit more about this man who certainly was special in God's eyes, but not really special in the sense that everybody else is less than he was. He was special because he decided to follow God. And he was given a task that was great. And he pretty much, I want to say pretty much, he pretty much worked it out. But let's look at something else here today. In Exodus chapter 24, looking at verses 12 to 18, we find this story about Moses. Oops. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Come up to me on the mountain. Stay here, and I will give you the tablets of stone on which I have inscribed the instructions and the commands, so you can teach the people." So Moses and his assistant Joshua set out, and Moses climbed up the mountain of God. Okay, now let's stop here a second before I go any further. God told Moses to do something, and he did it. Now, earlier on in this story and in his life, he was much quicker to argue and complain when God told him to do something. In fact, it took him a while to realize that God really does know what he's doing. Now, you and I have struggles with that from time to time. Sometimes we think we got a better plan. Maybe we don't think about it that way, but that's really what it is. We don't listen to God completely because we like listening to ourselves. Now, that makes us human beings. So I'm not saying anything negative about someone. I've done that, so I don't know why you wouldn't have done that. But yet here, God simply said to Moses, "Come up on the mountain. I'm going to give you these stone tablets." And it's just amazing, Moses' reaction. So let's look at that here, verse 14. Moses told the others, "Stay here and wait for us until we come back. Aaron and Hur are here with you. If anyone has a dispute while I'm gone, consult with them." Let's stop here again. Evidently, everything isn't roses in the land of the Hebrews. Anytime you get a few folks together, you're going to have different opinions. Anytime you get a lot of folks together, you're going to have a lot of different opinions. And it says here, if anyone has a dispute, a disagreement, an argument, a complaint, then he said, go and consult with Aaron and Hur. They'll do it while I'm gone. Sometimes we kind of think that Christianity means we always agree with everybody. But that's not true. I mean, we agree if we're a Christian that Jesus is the Savior and that we have to follow him. But, there are a lot of other things that we don't have to agree on. Heck, my wife and I don't agree on everything. Imagine if I had 10 wives or she had 10 husbands. It'd really be difficult. But people have disagreements, and that's okay. It's what you do in settling them that makes the difference and makes it important. So Moses said, okay, I'm taking off. Here are these two guys. They'll take care of you while I'm gone. And then we get to verse 15. Here's the really exciting part. Then Moses climbed up the mountain, and the cloud covered it. And the glory of the Lord settled down on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the seventh day, the Lord called to Moses from inside the cloud. To the Israelites at the foot of the mountain, the glory of the Lord appeared at the summit like a consuming fire. Then Moses disappeared into the cloud as he climbed higher and higher up the mountain. He remained on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. I can't really imagine what Moses went through. I can speculate, but this is all the Bible tells us. We have some more about a conversation here in a bit, and I'll get to that. But Moses walks up into a cloud and disappears. Now, for the people down at the bottom, they may think, well, this is okay. He'll be right back. And he's there for 7 days. And then after 7 days, God speaks and says, come on up to the top. And then he's gone for 40 days. Now, if you were someone down at the bottom, what would you think is going on? I mean, God told Moses, come up to the mountain. I'll give you the tablets that have the instructions of what you're supposed to do. The people knew that. They knew why Moses was going on the mountain. But yet, if we look at some other things later on to this, they got really ungodly, even building a golden calf to worship. Why? Because God didn't act as fast as they wanted him to. Now, I can imagine for Moses, that must have been an incredible 40 days and nights. I guess he didn't eat. I don't know about that. But for those 40 days, he and God were in the same position that Adam and Eve and God were prior to the fall. Just him and God together for that time period. Man, I don't know what I would have said to God if that had been me. I don't know what Moses said. I don't know what God said. And there's a tendency to think, well, that's because it was Moses. Anybody else, it wouldn't have happened to her. And I don't think that's true. See, I think you and I, maybe we won't spend 40 days and nights alone with God, but we can spend a lot of time alone with God. When you're driving down the road, you can spend time alone with God. Turn the radio off. Turn the stream off, or whatever it is you listen to. And just let the silence of the drive speak to your heart. Most mornings, I'll spend some time here in the sanctuary. Sometimes it's more than others. Sometimes it's very brief, depending on other things that I think are important to do. But it's a time to just sit and listen to God. We want to talk too much. We want to demand too much. Moses didn't do any of that. He disappeared into the cloud and into the presence of God. He sets an example of how you and I should live our lives. Not that we walk away from everybody for that length of time, though maybe for some folks that would be appropriate. But you and I need to spend time with God alone every day, maybe many times a day. We need to realize, as Moses did here, as much as he'd already accomplished, spending time with God was more important. And you and I can benefit from that lesson. I don't know what your plan is, what your daily activity chart looks like. I don't know how busy or unbusy you are, and it doesn't matter. What matters, are you disappearing into the cloud to spend time with God on a regular basis? Are you? You know. And I'd like to leave you with that challenge. Spend some time alone with God each and every day. Well, thanks for listening. If you have a need or concern, let us know. We'll do whatever we can as fast as we can to meet your need. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.